Imagine knowing that everything you experience is a reality you are creating. Imagine finally understanding that with the right belief system, you never have to be sick. Imagine never having to worry or have fear about anything because you are in control of it all. What will you do when you find out this is all true and what you have been told to believe is false? It is time to learn the truth. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reality Changer Radio. It is Tuesday, September 17th, 2013, and I am your host, Dave Dickey. And for the next half hour, 40 minutes, we're going to be discussing tonight the concepts of gratitude, how it came about, and why everyone is got different views on it. And we're going to explode the old myths from the old school programming. One of the things that I want to talk about with this is that typically we are programmed to basically nail ourselves on the cross to show love for somebody or to show gratitude. You know, somebody does something for us and our parents and family have programmed us to thank them many, many times and do something nice for them and, you know, be grateful and that we've got somebody to do something like that for us and have those feelings and all this. But along with that, with the old programming, we have had the institute of worry and fear instilled in us. And I'll explain to you how that happens. When we're younger and the programming begins, a certain sense of, I don't know, I'm not sure how to describe it, but something happens with the parents where this connection with the children get a little odd as far as the gratitude thing. And you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to bring up children, and there's a lot of work to it. And for some reason, and I think it might be because basically the parents have had the old school programming that I'm doing all this stuff for you, you ungrateful little bastard. And that starts to come out in the parents. And the attitude changes towards the children. And it's not so much now that I'm doing this because I love you and you're my seed and this is what parents do. It becomes one of those games where, look at how much I've done for you. Couldn't you just do this? As if they're being done a favor. And so this other system gets set up where the children are experiencing the worry and the fear of now, besides the fact not making their guardians happy, their masters, now they have to worry and have fear about showing gratitude in the proper way. And the proper way is displayed to them and explained to them by their guardians, their masters. And if they don't remember at certain times and life gets stressed out because the guardians don't have a handle on their own reality and their stress comes out in the form of yelling and screaming and sighing and making faces and making snide remarks that are not lost on the children, even if the children aren't in the same room. That energy is felt. And so what happens is the children start to have self-doubt. They start to feel bad about themselves. And they start to feel like they're not worthy of their parents' love because how could they be? They didn't show their gratitude strong enough, according to everyone that's programming them. And they did this horrible thing, which really has nothing to do with gratitude, however, because of the limited belief system that the guardians have, they have naturally equated to gratitude and secure pain and unhappiness upon the children when that vision of theirs isn't met. The children grow up with that concept. And if you were to reverse it, their parents grew up with that concept, and that's why they're doing it to their kids. The fact of the matter is, it's only so damn important because the people making it important don't know that it's not that important. If they had not had the limiting belief system they have and all the crap programming that they have, then they would have not done that to their children. Now again, as I say in many of these talks, I'm not blaming any of the parents or grandparents or guardians out there. Doing the best you can with the information you have. What I'm trying to do is make everyone aware that the information that has been passed down for the last 6 or 7 generations is the wrong information. You are digging a hole that can't be filled when it comes to the limited belief system programming that you're doing to the children. What happens is gratitude, the concept of gratitude, ends up being in the bucket along with fear of grades and jobs and relationships, and the list goes on and on. When somebody does something for you, it is different than if you are expected to do something for somebody. Unfortunately, there's a blurred line there when it comes to parental exasperation about everything they have to do and everything that's going on. And it becomes, like I said earlier, it becomes this weird game where the guardians, the masters, whoever they are, start to become resentful of the children. And they become resentful because the children are just existing and living this life that they have to be taken care of, and things have to be done for them and given to them. And a bit of resentment comes in, and the guardians don't even know that that's what's going on, but it causes them to start playing this weird game as if they're doing the children favors by taking care of them, when that's actually their job. I mean, let's get real here. Nobody asked to be born on that sense. I mean, if you get it deeper and more spiritual, we all made pacts to be here. But because we vibrate at a lower frequency in a physical plane, our memories of that pact are pretty much shot when we get here. But let's face it, everybody made the pact to be here. The parents made the pact with the children. The grandparents made the pact. Everybody made the pact. Now, in a very real sense, stop your bitching and do your job. And stop thinking the kids owe you something for it. There. I did my official yelling at the masters. Because seriously, it's true, folks. When the masters get upset about the ungrateful little bastards, you're totally off the mark because it is their job to do what they're doing for those ungrateful little bastards. And it is not the children's job to show gratitude. Quite the contrary. Gratitude comes about when somebody does you a favor they don't have to do. Like, let's say, for instance, you're back east during a snowstorm and the neighbor comes along and helps you shovel out your driveway. That's a nice thing and you should be grateful. Okay? But because we place so much importance on gratitude, well, you can't be grateful just by saying thank you. You have to do something nice for him, and you have to make sure that it's a little more than what they did for you, and all this other crap. And that's all it is. It's crap. It's all crap from the old school programming. Somebody does something nice for you that they didn't have to do, then, hey, yeah, you're going to be grateful in the sense that that was really nice. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. And you thank them appropriately. And I mean, when I mean appropriately, I mean you genuinely shake their hand and say, thank you so much, I really appreciate that. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, let me know. End of story. But we have gotten to the place around the world where there's certain cultures where, man, oh man, depending on what you do for somebody, they end up owing you their life. And that's retarded. It's because you didn't have to do it. Right? It's a grateful thing. But you don't have to go around like that extreme. That's ridiculous. But because the resentfulness comes into play, we program the children to not only show gratitude, but make sure you mention it every time. And, when you want to say something bad about your grandparents, or you're just frustrated and you don't want to deal with one of the family members or somebody else who may have done you a favor, you're reminded, well, what about all the stuff they've done for you? Blah, 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 you ungrateful little bastard. So now, what has to happen? You have to start feeling bad about yourself. And your subconscious is equating those self-doubts and bad feelings with gratitude. Or what you're being programmed is a lack of gratitude on your part. So now, in order to self-medicate yourself, and we all do this, you come up with the idea that, well, the only way to make everybody happy, because let's face it, we're programmed to try to make everybody happy, even though we constantly say you can't. That's the main reason we constantly say it, because we know we're programmed that way. In order to make everybody happy, well, I have to go off the hook with showing gratitude to this person. And I guess I can't really say anything about them because of all the nice things they've done. That's crap. When somebody's an ass, they're an ass. It doesn't matter if they've done something nice for you every day of your life. If they're an ass, they're an ass. And that doesn't change anything. Sure, you might overlook it, but don't bring up all the nice stuff that they've done for you to excuse the fact, and don't use that to be an ass to somebody thinking they won't say anything because of all the nice things you've done. It's not cool, and it's just crap. When somebody does something nice for you, you thank them, and you move on. If you have an opportunity to do something nice for them, okay, fine, you do it. But don't do it because you feel that you owe them. Because that's the wrong reason to do something nice for someone. You want to help somebody and you want to do something nice for somebody because you want to help somebody or do something nice for somebody. If you start putting a price tag on it, like, well, I owe you, or, what will grandma say, or what will my mom think, there's no value to it. You're not really helping anybody. You're trying to justify your existence and make everyone happy when you tell them what you did. Does that make sense? There's a big difference between genuinely wanting to help somebody and thinking that you have to. There's no love there. There's no true spirit of giving. There's no true feeling of connection if you're only doing it because you feel you have to. Okay? So when you're trying to show gratitude to somebody, the last thing you want to do is put a sticker on it and say, well, I'm going to have to do this because they helped me shovel out my driveway. No, you don't have to. You never have to do a damn thing except thank them and genuinely be happy that it happened. Okay? When you're living the kind of life that you can live and that you're controlling, that nice things happen to you all the time, understand that that is why you are having those things happen. And if you really want to show gratitude, help somebody else do that. I mean, if you really want to go above and beyond and reach out to somebody whose life is just being lived by default, and help that person understand that they can take control of their lives and live life on their terms and not have to rely on daddy and mommy. What I mean by that is all the people with a title and big brother and government and all that. If you really feel like you need to go above and beyond, do that. But again, don't do it because it's going to make you feel better. It's not the reason you're supposed to do it. Okay? You're supposed to do nice things for people, to just do nice things for people. And the way to really show gratitude is to take what somebody did for you and incorporate it into becoming greater in your existence. You know, if somebody does really something super duper nice for you, hey, thank them. Listen, there's nothing wrong with taking them out to dinner or something like that. But don't do it because you think you're going to lay a guilt trip on yourself if you don't. Because then you're feeding into the old school programming. Because that's what they want you to do. They want you to feel guilty and have self-doubt about your own worth if you don't play the game that they programmed you to. And it goes beyond the gratitude. It goes into everything. But tonight we're talking about the gratitude. But I want you to understand that it's all the same when you're talking about feeling guilty, not feeling like you're worthy enough, and all of this, and then reaching behind the curtain for the reasons for those feelings. The programming is the same. The guilt trip is the same. But every time that you do anything for somebody else, where you know in your heart that if you don't do it, you're not going to feel right, then you're feeding into the old school programming. Because that's what they want you to do. They want you to get that feeling of uneasiness for not doing something. That feeling of self-doubt. That feeling, geez, I'm pretty shitty because I didn't do this for this person. No. No, no, no. Okay? 1,000 times no. That should never be the driving force behind you doing something nice for somebody. Okay? Never. And if the driving force is just to, give them something nice because they did something nice, if you forget about it, don't knock yourself in the head over it, because that in itself is the old programming. Oh man, I really feel bad because, Joe helped me shovel out my driveway and I've never helped him once. Shut up. That is not what life is about. Right at that moment, you are becoming what your masters wanted you to become. Self-doubter of self-worth if you don't do what they told you is the right thing to do, whatever that is. Because 9 times out of 10, the right thing to do, according to your programming, is to feel that there's something wrong with you if you don't go above and beyond showing gratitude or love. Okay? So you need to understand where all of those feelings come from. And they all come from the old school programming, where if you don't do what you're told to do, then there's something wrong with you, and you're going to find out real quick that no one's happy. And that's not right. That's how we get into this mess that we're in. But fortunately now, a shift is happening. Everyone's starting to wake up and smell the coffee. And that is the reason I do these weekly broadcasts, because I want everyone to wake up and smell the coffee. And if I can contribute and do my part and do you guys a favor that I don't have to do, then look, you want to show gratitude to me? You get benefit out of these broadcasts and out of the workshops and the classes and all the lectures that I do. Then show gratitude to me by taking this information and applying it towards greatness in your life. You want to come up and shake my hand and say, hey, I really appreciate all the stuff that you're sharing and all that. Hey, that's cool. That's not going above and beyond. But don't think that you have to, buy me stuff or, take me out to dinner. Okay, well, maybe take me out to dinner, as long as there's Guinness. But no, seriously, take all the information, apply it towards greatness in your life, and that's gratitude enough. And that's how it should be with everybody. Now you say, well, how do I apply greatness when the guy shoveled up my driveway or helped me shovel up my sidewalk? You know what I'm talking about. Go over, shake his hand, buy him a beer, whatever. Something small. But don't think that if you don't do it, then you're a twit. Because you're not. That's the old school programming getting involved. All right? So just keep that in mind, that the best way to show gratitude is when somebody does you something really good, like somebody bails you out of jail at 2 o'clock in the morning or this kind of thing. Again, don't think that you have to go overboard showing gratitude with that. All right? They may put a guilt trip on you or try to put a guilt trip on you, but that's only because they're headspacing their old programming. Okay? And you don't have to be a dick about it, but don't feed into it. All right? So now what I want to talk about here is gratitude lists. And I don't know if you've heard of them, but I'm going to assume you haven't. Aside from the happiness meditation that we talked about last week, a gratitude list is an awesome way to start feeling better about what's going on in your life. And I'll explain this to you. What you want to do is you want to get yourself, just like with the happiness meditation, you want to get, some 15 or 20 minutes alone time once a week. Put on some soothing music, stuff that calms you down, gets the noise out of your head. And get a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. You don't want to use the computer because that's different energy. All right. What you want to do is you want to have all this energy come up from your center chakras and come through your arms, and you are going to infuse the writing implements with your energy. So like I said, put on some soothing music, sit down, relax, And what you're going to do is you're going to take one item at a time. And I want you to think of something that you're grateful for. And I don't mean like the bleeding obvious. Like, well, I'm grateful I'm in America, blah, 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 blah. No. That's too obvious. What I'm talking about is stuff that goes right to the heart of your soul. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say your dog ran out in the middle of the street and got hit by a car, flipped over 3 times, and you thought the dog was dead. And your dog's not moving, and you run over to it, and you find out it's breathing, and you take it to the vet, and the vet says it's going to be okay. Now that's grateful. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that. Somebody bails you out of jail. Hey man, that's grateful. Okay? Stuff that really you can get emotional about, because that's what's important here. You want to be able to get emotional about each one of these things. So sit back, relax, and come up with one thing in your head. And I want you to relive that moment that it happened. Visualize it. Just like with the happiness thing, but not so intense, but just get it to the point where you start to feel the emotion about it. Okay? You want to get all of that emotion just rising to the top of your core. And when you feel it, and you'll know when you feel it, because you'll feel it just like when it happened. That's when I want you to say what you're grateful for out loud. The way I want you to do it is, I am grateful. Okay? I am grateful for my dog not dying, or whatever. And as you're saying it, I want you to write it down. And hold that emotion, hold that feeling while you're writing it down. And then move on to the next one and do the same thing. Now, there's no minimum or maximum that you need to put on the list. If you only have 2 or 3 or 1, that's fine. But I want you to make copies of it. And the way I want you to make the copies is exactly the way you made the first one. Don't use a photocopier or scan it on the computer. Again, different energy. And when you make these copies, I want you to put them everywhere. Everywhere that you can see it during the day. Put them on the fridge, put them on the table, put it at work, everywhere you can see it. Now with the first one, what I want you to do with that is fold it up and keep it with you everywhere you go. Because you see, there's this energy band that runs around our bodies. Some call it the aura. But that's exactly what it is. It's the energy, and it's the energy that shoots out of us. And that's how people can read your aura and tell what you're feeling, or, how your health is, and that kind of thing. And I want you to keep this list with you, this very first one that you've infused with the most amount of energy, so that it intersects and reacts with your energy of you. Okay? So it's kind of bonding with your own energy. And I want you to have it on you no matter where you go. Okay? No matter where you go. And every so often, you're going to get to the point where you're just going to reach in your pocket, or ladies reach in your purse, or wherever. And you're going to touch this thing. And you're going to get to know exactly what you're touching. And you're going to know everything that's on it. You won't even have to look at it. You'll know. And you're going to be smiling. And you're going to get happy about it. You see, because the more things that you're grateful for, the more things will come to you that you can be grateful for. Like let's say, for instance, you thought it might be raining out, but it's a nice sunny day, and you're really grateful to see all the flowers and the hummingbirds and all that. Or, you driving along and you decide to go down to the ocean and it's gorgeous sunset. Write that down. You're grateful for that gorgeous sunset because it made you feel so happy. Okay? And what's going to happen is you want to keep adding to these lists. Okay? Start looking for things to be grateful for. You know, so often we get so wrapped up in this busy, busy life called technology. And we just don't, like they say, you know, take time to smell the coffee and see the forest for the trees and all those cool other wisdom-like sayings they have. They all mean the same. It's somebody trying to tell us, hey, slow down. Take a minute to look around you because you can find at least one thing. You know, let's say a neighbor shovels you out. You're grateful for that, okay? So write that down on your list. All right? These little things that you're grateful for, okay? But keep looking. All right? This is the exercise. Keep looking and keep adding. Because as life gets better for you, and it will if you do these exercises I talk about each week, life gets better for you. Things are going to happen. Changes are going to happen. You're going to see it if you allow it. If you open your eyes and you look around and you just let all of it come in. The changes are going to be there. You're going to see them. It's going to happen. And be grateful. You know? All of a sudden, somebody takes half your workload at work, and you get to leave early and still get paid for the whole day. Ah, that's something to put on your list. And nice stuff like that will start happening the more that you start changing your life. Okay? And just bask in the amazing concept that now that your life is changing, there's going to be way more things to be grateful for. And way more things to write down and look for. And share. Share your list with people. People say, hey, what is that? Oh, this is my gratitude list. Oh, what's a gratitude list? Okay? Now this list that you're doing, and it starts you off with gratitude, but you're going to find over the weeks and months and years to come, if you keep listening to me, that these lists are just practice. They're important unto themselves, but they're also practice for other things. Okay? So get really good at this gratitude list and be grateful. I mean, how many times a day do we sit around and think about all the stuff that when it happened, we were like, oh man, that is so awesome. Oh wow, I'm so glad that happened. But then, you know, things get in the way, life gets in the way, years go by, and we totally forget about it. Okay? Now's your chance to commemorate those things that you're grateful for. And keep them on a list and keep them handy. And smile. And be happy that good stuff is happening in your life. Because that's what it's about, folks. It's about being happy that good stuff is happening in your life. And the more that you are happy that good things are happening in your life, the more good things will happen in your life. That's the way the universe works. You don't have to force it. You don't have to dictate to it. It is the way it works, you know. Just like the more you're sad or upset, the more you have of that. That, my friends, is the heart of the law of attraction. Those kind of things, that's exactly what happens. Okay? So, to sum up tonight's broadcast, number one, don't go overboard showing gratitude. Be nice about it. Thank the person. Okay? and say, hey, I'm really grateful, blah, blah, blah. But don't lay a guilt trip on yourself if A, you forget to do it, or B, you don't think you're doing enough for the person. Don't do that, because then you're buying into the old school programming, and you're going to have all kinds of doubts and fears and the self-worth crap and all that other stuff, okay? So start changing tonight. Start changing tonight. Don't buy into all of that crap anymore. It's enough to say thank you. It's enough to shake someone's hand. It's enough. You don't have to do any more. Okay? Next on our list, if you do something for somebody, don't do it because you think you have to. Do it because you genuinely want to do something for somebody. Okay? Because if you're doing stuff when you think you have to, then the guilt trip and the whole, oh man, I'm horrible because I didn't do it, or I didn't do enough of it, okay? Then you go right back to the old school programming. All right? And the trick here is to get you out of the old school programming, okay? And out of those limited beliefs. And this is how we start changing our beliefs. We start changing our actions and our attitudes. And it becomes a new habit. And then your belief just changes by itself. Seriously. So don't do anything that you think you have to do because somebody did something for you. Okay? Do it because you want to do something nice for somebody. All right? Next, a gratitude list. Start writing down things you're grateful for. Get emotional about them. Relive the instant when it happened. Get that emotion coming up. This is one of the keys to manifesting, is to get those emotions rising when you're reliving a situation or visualizing a situation, and your energy is just going to pop. And you want that energy to go right down into the writing implement in your hand and infuse that paper. And don't forget, you want to make copies by hand. Keep technology out of this one, folks. And keep that first one that you made with you at all times as a reminder. Okay? Eventually you won't even think about touching it. It'll just be there and you'll know that it's there. And it'll be like picking up your car keys and you're putting on your watch. You're shoving that piece of paper in your pocket. Okay? So I want everybody to start realizing that the reason there's so much stress and depression and anger is because we have been taught all these things that are crap, and we have been programmed to believe that if we don't do them, there's something wrong with us. And we never want to feel like there's something wrong with us. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And I hope everyone's having an awesome day and everyone's having an awesome evening. Show your gratitude the proper way. Do your gratitude lists and get emotional about it. Okay? And love to everybody out there. I hope everyone out there has an awesome week. And don't forget that this week I'm going to be at the Everyday Zen Relaxation Studio on Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8, teaching the third of the 3 classes of the Basic Law of Attraction. And Thursday, I'm going to be in Fullerton at the Owl's Lantern from 7 to 8:30, teaching that very same class. This coming Saturday at 10 a.m., I'm doing a meetup with at my place, and we're going to be discussing the power of I am. Really powerful stuff. Okay. If you don't know anything about what I'm talking about, look it up on the internet. The I am presence and the I am discourses. Okay. It'll just skyrocket your manifesting. All right. And then next Saturday, I'm going to be doing a 3-hour workshop in Anaheim at the Learning Light Foundation. So lots of good stuff coming up. And, of course, always here with you guys Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. So love to all. And until next time, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today? All right, well, that's it for today's show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it and are a little closer to living life on your terms. Join me next week, won't you, for another mind-blowing show about the truth of reality. Until then, my reality is not your reality. What are you creating today?